All right, welcome everyone to our presentation today. We will be talking about LinkedIn and share some insights that we have on this platform concerning this platform and your job search. And hopefully we'll be able to have some time for a Q&A afterwards, but definitely want to share some insights with you today. So we'll be covering a LinkedIn overview, and we'll talk about some strategies to really optimize your LinkedIn page, and some tips and things to help kind of get you in a really more professional standing when it comes to your online presence. What's your digital footprint look like? How can LinkedIn be optimized to really give you that best first impression when recruiters are using LinkedIn to do talent searches? And we'll talk about those profile sections that will help you to really amplify your message and get that out there. And then if you have any questions that we can address, I'll do my best to address those, and we'll cover some best practices. So a lot of people, I got this question yesterday, is LinkedIn still a thing? Is LinkedIn still as popular as it was when it started in its heyday, so to speak? Well, currently there's still over 1 billion, if not more, members worldwide. Over 58 million companies and probably growing, more to be on LinkedIn. We have 308,000 WGU alumni, and I'm going to show you the alumni tool in just a little bit, but all of the alumni who are on LinkedIn are just there waiting for you to connect with them. This is all about networking. It's what I call the great American know-who. Who do you know that might be in your career industry or interest that you can make a connection with? Research currently is still showing that more than 80% of jobs, interviews, moving into the next field, pivoting your career is found by networking. It's found by connecting with people that you know or you come to know in that particular industry. 94% of recruiters are using LinkedIn. They're using LinkedIn to find you, to vet the right candidate for the job, and to do hiring talent. Now, let me say something. I want to be as transparent as possible. I want to be as realistic as possible. I do know that folks have said, I reached out to those recruiters, I sent them a message, or they reached out to me and never heard back from them. I was ghosted. Have no idea what happened. That's a good question when people ask that. I wish I had a good answer, but for whatever reason, that happens. Keep going. Keep trying. Keep reaching out. Scrutinize, analyze those profiles that you want to connect with people, making sure that they're legitimate. Just keep going. Don't get discouraged. Now, when we're talking about your profile and what does it mean to optimize that profile, again, the recruiters have their own view of LinkedIn. It's a recruiting tool. It's kind of hidden behind the scenes for job seekers, but knowing a little bit about this tool can help you get the most out of your profile for your job search. This recruiting tool uses algorithms to be able to pull keywords from different sections on your page that they will be, it's kind of like the bat signal. They're going to get an alert of some kind as they're looking. So the more you know about how to use these keywords and algorithms, the better you're going to be closer to popping up on their radar. So these are ranked in higher searches by including keywords that are related to your industry skills, relevant transferable skills if you're a career changer, certifications you've obtained, ongoing training, target job titles, You really want to write your profile for the future. Don't just say what you did in the past, but what are you poised for going forward? This is going to really help be able to get that more refreshed look of your profile. So again, when you're looking at the sections that are indexed higher by this recruiting search algorithm, you want to pay a lot of attention to your headline, to your job title, and your experience using those transferable skills in your bullet points, and your skills section. In your skills section, make sure you're listing only what's relevant that you want to work on, that you're pointed toward. Don't list things that are obvious. Typing speed, driver's license, um, good communicator. These are expected. Don't waste the time or the space, but use things that are going to be much more relevant to your career and what you're looking for. Here are some other checkpoints to add these keywords to your target industry. When you're doing a job search and you're finding those descriptions, job descriptions, I got tripped up on my terminology, or even your own job. Do you have a current job description of what you're currently doing or what you did, but now you're getting your degree, so you want to take it to the next level? If that job description is still relevant to identify your skill sets, why you were hired, those are the industry skills, relevant transferable skills that I'm talking about. There's also a really great idea to use hashtags. So under your picture, and in your profile, both, on your picture is like that headline, then your profile is your 30-second commercial. At the end of that, you can use specific hashtags. So if you're in the IT field and you're a software developer, or you're studying to be a software developer, and you're looking at being able to really highlight your technical skills, use hashtags like this that I put in the chat. And whatever your industry is, if you're in HR, then use HR. You can do recruiter. You can do hashtag employee training, or whatever that particular keyword would be. Because these hashtags are activating those algorithms as well, and it's putting an extra layer of visibility on your profile. Now, if you're still curious about where can I find a list of maybe some keywords that might be relevant for me, obviously looking at other people's profiles, and I'm going to show you how to do that with the alumni tool, but also Pathway U. If you know about Pathway U here, if you've taken it from the Career Center, that's a way to look those up. But you can also Google this. You could put it in ChatGPT. That would be a great idea. What are top keywords for a software developer? And then let ChatGPT do some of the work for you. Now, when you're editing your profile, this is just some nuts and bolts of things to work for. On your profile, you should find and be able to see the add profile section. And then you can add that section and then fill that out. Here's an example from one of my colleagues up to the right. So she talks a little bit about herself, and look, she puts hashtags there as well. Show how many followers, how many connections she has, where she's gone to school. You would do this, as you know, you find that little pencil that's on your profile there, and then that will open up the editing section for you to make any changes. Your profile picture has a role to play. It really does. From LinkedIn, the latest data is that 21 times more views and 9 times more connection requests if you have your profile. Let me tell you a little personal anecdote. My sister works for a fulfillment company, and she's at a director's level. And when she is looking at applications, people who are applying to roles or positions at her company, she'll go to their LinkedIn profile page, especially if they have it linked on their resume. If there's no picture, she won't read it. She'll move on to somebody else. In her opinion, it's incomplete. And if that's incomplete, what else is missing as far as her capability, the applicant? So a good professional looking photo, you can do it on your phone. You can have somebody else, take the picture for you, but just let it be you. Don't have your dog or cat. I've seen that. I've seen LinkedIn profile photos where people are holding their baby or they're there with their family. This is not about the family. This is about you. So you want to keep it professional and make sure that looks good. These are two interesting, this last little arrow, Photo Feeler and Snapper will do kind of a check of your photo. Does it look professional? Is it too washed out? Is it too dark? Things like that. Very interesting. When you get a copy of this video, you should be able to click on these and get them and find them. If you want to write them down now, you could probably do a search and find that on your own before you get the video. But here's a good checklist, right? So just you, as I said, shoulders are above. So you want your picture to really fill in that frame. A good friendly smile, natural lighting. You can be outside if you want, but make sure it's your face is really filling in that field, that frame, and you don't have other distracting elements behind you in the background. And obviously look at the camera, it's all going to be a good image to start with. Now, behind your photo is that banner, right? This could be a way for you to add something that is relevant to your industry. Here's one at the bottom that you can see there. So Olivia Wilson, she's a social media marketing professional. So she has found some things that is social media related. And she probably used Canva to create this with her name, her contact information. So this really can be a great addition to your image and to your profile. If you don't put anything on there, it's just that gray background. It's kind of boring. So look around, play around with this, explore, see what you can find. There are lots of ways to find stock photo. These are two, Unsplash and Pixabay. They are royalty free, things like that. So you don't have to worry about, being concerned with that. Now, this is something that's easily missed, and it's your URL. And I see this all the time when students are sending in their resumes or they're asking for a LinkedIn review. Oh, yes, we do LinkedIn reviews. All you got to do is ask, and one of our team will do a review for you. We have a nice little self-review form. In fact, I'm going to share that with you as well. Let me go ahead and do that. Oops, we don't want that to show up. Not yet. So let me get that for you. I got to move some windows around here. All right. Now I copied this from our resources, so I'm hoping that the hyperlink will cross over. I think it did. So this user guide will go through all of these sections and give you some more detailed ways to follow up after the video today. So you're glad to use that. But the URL is easily missed. And at the end, it has like a bunch of letters and numbers, right? So you want to be careful that you can edit it out and even maybe customize it to your industry, for example. So it looks clean, it's professional, it makes it easier to find and to share. You can use it on professional materials, like as I said before, your resume, your cover letter. If you have a portfolio, And I know a lot of our business, especially in marketing, will have a portfolio. Even if you're in the IT School of Technology and you have a professional portfolio, not just GitHub, but maybe a different one you built. If you're a software developer, for example, you want to advertise your capabilities, you could put your URL on that profile as well, or in that portfolio, and use that way. So again, at the end, like for myself, I can have linkedin.com/in/Cliff Guerin, and then maybe career advisor or whatever, play around with it and see how it works for you, or just your name would be fine too. So here's another example. This is my part of my profile, the headline, and I talked about this a moment ago. You want to have a targeted job title. Again, industry skills. If you have certifications, they can go here. It's a value proposition, right? So I've got my hashtags that are there. So anybody who may be looking for, if I were job searching, and I'm not, by the way, but if I were, and I got recruiters coming back to me and say, hey, we're looking for a career coach that has some federal career background and maybe has knowledge of using USA Jobs. If that's in their field of vision, I want them to see that on my profile. I want that to be a bat signal to let them know that I might be the person they're looking for. Now, here's some other examples I thought would be interesting that you can look at. So you see at the top kind of an outline of how they would be formatted on your page if you want to do this or choose to do this. So target job title, keyword, skill, a couple of those there, maybe a value proposition or value statement that you can make. So if you look at the first one to the left, medical record specialist, HIPAA compliance, electronic records, safeguarding patient documentation to promote accurate and confidential healthcare data management. That's her value proposition. Another way to do it could be, you might want to have your job title, but then use your certifications. If you're in IT and you've got CompTIA or AWS, then maybe you want to go in that route. Then your key skills. Or if you're not sure specifically of a particular job, but you want to make sure you're staying fresh in the industry, then maybe you'll use maybe some general industry skills and then your value proposition. That's our last example to the right. Aspiring cybersecurity analyst, network security, threat detection, incident response, protecting digital frontiers with proactive defense strategies. Somewhat general, but she's aspiring. So she's getting her degree. She's not yet in the industry, but she still wants to get that message out so she can start attracting maybe some internships or some other ways of being trained on the job training in the industry. All right. So again, here, and you'll be able to review this. Here are some other headline formulas that you can work with. And we just looked at those formulas using key skills, certifications, or industries. Here is the formulation that you can use as you're putting yours together for yourself. Now, when you're looking at the About section, here's some writing tips. This is the 30-second commercial that I talked about a moment ago. So you can use these, you can write in first person, unlike your resume is not going to be in first person, to use first person pronouns, I, me, my. Start with the hook to capture their attention. Nothing outrageous, but something to really get their attention, to compel them to read further. Maybe 3 to 5 paragraphs. You don't want to be too wordy. You don't want your profile to be too cluttered with a lot of information, but it can be maybe 3 to 5 nice, concise paragraphs. So the opening paragraph, you want to answer these questions. What do you do? Why do you do it? I'm even going to say, how do you do it? You don't want to just tell them what you did. You want to explain how you did and what achievements. That could come later, but we're leading up to that. What draws you to the field? Why did you choose this particular degree, for example? What motivates you? So we're getting into some personality questions, things that, what's your internal drive or your work ethic? That could be a really good thing to add. That middle paragraph section, what is your career background? What industry skills and knowledge do you possess? What transferable skills are you bringing from your previous work that can help make what you want to do and what you're studying more of a value to an employer and relevant to your new career pivot, if you will? I had a student use this term, and I thought it was pretty good, but she was getting her degree from going into a different industry as a realignment to her new career step. But how do you achieve your results? Again, kind of those work ethics, techniques. What is it about you that you use to bring those successes? And then your final paragraph could be about your career goals, what kind of opportunities you might be interested in, and then finalize it with a call to action. It could be something as simple as, if I fit your profile for, the ultimate worker, let's connect today. Something like that. But it's a call to action. Here's some other career tips, kind of breaking it up in content with a few section headers to guide the reader's eye. And these headers would be in all bold and also in all caps. So you can start about tell me about yourself on your about section. Start with what I do. That's your header. Then go into your content. Why a career in accounting, and then go into your content. My top values. You see how it's working? Then that middle paragraph is my career highlights, problems I solve, knowledge I bring, and so forth, technologies I use. Then your closing is my career goals, where I want to go, connect with me. That's the call to action. Opportunities I'm drawn to. These are really, really, really good points to make because it will make your profile more interesting, more easier to find information. Recruiters love that. So in the experience section, again, you want to be targeted. You want to be intentional on what you include. Don't just blast it with everything you've done, but be intentional and pick and choose only what would be relevant to your next step. Similar to your resume, go back 10 to 15 years, if possible. Again, you don't want to go back further than that because that could date your experience, or it could clutter the section and make it too much to read. And again, if there's a chance that there could be any age discrimination, then hopefully this will help to mitigate that. For less relevant experience, I get that all the time. Most of us in the Career Center will have students say, I'm making a career change and I don't think that what I did earlier is relevant. So why would I use that? Well, highlight transferable skills. Highlight any relevant accomplishments in your bullet points. And you can even literally say, if you're let's see, somebody is coming from working as in a restaurant industry, and they're moving into cloud computing. They could say worked as a server dealing with high pressure situations, transferable to cloud computing to understand changing technologies, something like that. I don't know if that even made sense, but I'm trying to trying to connect the dots. But you see, you can show something you did, how it might connect to what you want to do. If it doesn't, and it doesn't make sense, then don't put it. Just try to stay with those transferable skills and more relevant accomplishments that might be helpful. And you can only give 3 bullet points, 3 one-line bullet points will probably be enough. At this point, similar to your resume, recruiters will flip their focus from looking, if it's something that's not relevant to the industry they would be applying to, for example, they'll flip their focus from trying to find relevant bullet points to at least see that you were working. At least you were working. You had a job. So that's how they flop back and forth between those thoughts. Otherwise, if you're like, well, these are not relevant jobs, I'm going to leave them off. Well, then if that only leaves 3 or 4 years of work experience, you might be shooting yourself in the foot. Consider adding relevant unpaid experiences, volunteering, micro internships, clinical experiences. If you're coming from a healthcare industry or teaching, it's still experience. And it's still part of you. It's still part of what you bring. More on the experience section. So again, that job title line is indexed higher by the LinkedIn recruiting algorithm. So you want that to be keyword rich, that's there. And then you can develop compound job titles. Well, what does that mean? Compound job title will be that you can add a little bit more richness to your job title, and it can represent various roles. If you did, because everybody does various roles, right? And you don't just do one thing, you probably do a few other things. So here's some examples. Marketing associate / social media strategist. Instructional designer / content developer. Software engineer / full stack developer, or whatever else you did. Python programmer, C++, things like that. Give a little bit more flavor to your job titles there. And then again, the keywords that can represent really the meat of your responsibilities within your role, that can be very helpful. And again, it's interesting and it draws in recruiters, their eye to what you're doing. If you're, say within the HIM, health information management, health informatics could be part of that. If that's part of your background, that can happen as an informaticist. Clinical informatic systems, data entry, human resources coordinator. What did you do? Recruiting, onboarding, payroll. Oh, you're a cybersecurity analyst, perhaps. What did you do? Everything. Network security, threat management. Those are the things that I want to bring in. So the skills section, again, this is going to be one of those sections that really uses those algorithms that get attention. It is indexed. We keep saying that because there is that high index rate that the skills section gets. So you don't want to just put in generic information. It needs to be kind of rich with those keywords that you're using. 17 times more profiles if you have at least 5 skills. You can have 100, but that maxes it out. That's a lot of skills. But the more relevant skills you have, the better you're going to get, the better response you're going to get, and prioritize them. Put them in priority of importance, starting at the top and so forth. So a lot of folks obviously ask about settings and What do you do if you don't want your, your current boss to know that you have been looking for a job, or that you updated your profile? All of that's going to be found in your settings. The data privacy will be there. You'll go to that one and then change who can see your profile. Who do you want to be notified? So editing your profile view options and communication settings, um, that's easy to do. That happens all the time. So, go ahead and be able to explore with that and see what you want to set that's there. Now, I do get this question, and obviously, if you're looking for work and you don't want people to know, don't put this, don't use this. Um, I get I get pros and cons on this. Some folks will say, don't put that on there. It looks kind of cheesy, and it's just not necessary. Others will say, yeah, go ahead because it's kind of a signal to recruiters to say, hey, this is easy to find. We got this blaring light saying open to work. So it's kind of personal choice for you. If you are interested and you want to explore more, you'll find in this example underneath McCall's profile, there's that button that says open to, and then you can click it and you can find what are you open to? On-site work, hybrid, put your location, full-time work. Then you can see that far right above the WGU icon and the owl, you can say who do you want to be visible to, recruiters only or everybody, and then just click save. Now you can add all kinds of additional sections to this. Again, it optimizes your profile, it fills it out, gives you much more of a robust vision or view of recruiters. So licenses and certifications, recommendations. If you got a recommendation from people or worked with, you can put that here. Featured, what do you want to feature? Showcase your work. This could be a place if you have programming um, projects or your capstone projects. You might put that here. You put it in project section to make it more visible. But here's where you can showcase some of your featured work. If you speak more than one language, especially if it's a company that might be headquartered in a particular part of the country that speaks Vietnamese or Spanish or French or anything like that, it just adds again, it adds a layer of flavor to your profile. Any honors, awards, if you've written any kind of articles or in any kind of publications or blogs, stuff like that could go here. Key courses that you have taken, organizations that you might belong to, like human resources. If you belong to SHRM, the Society for Human Resources Management, that can be something you put there. As a career advisor, we belong to a couple of professional organizations, one called NACE, which is the National Association of Colleges and Employers. I have that on my profile. So again, this shows your real deep professionalism and how deep you go into your career. Now, it's all about networking, right? So if you're out at a party or wherever, and you want to share your LinkedIn profile, you could do that right from your phone. And this is how you do it. So you pull up the app on your phone. On the LinkedIn app, on the home screen, on your profile, you should see where there is in the search bar, there's a little QR symbol. Click that symbol and it will open up your LinkedIn QR code. It'll show you your code, like this one shows mine, and that person can scan it or you can send it. You can share your code and email it to them, or you can save it as a photo and just, have it as your photo. Then you can just pull that up and only have a couple of clicks. Or you can click that scan, and then it will open up your camera. And if you show somebody else on their LinkedIn app how to do this, then you can scan their QR code and boom. Pretty cool. Now, we do have some other presentations that you can see here that I wanted to share with you. And I'm going to put into the chat how you can find this page. And some other things too. I said that I was going to show you the alumni tool, and I want to do that. That wasn't part of this presentation, but I think that it can be helpful. But I'm also putting in the chat where you could see that information. And if you're reaching out, and folks that might be a little bit more introvertive, and they're like, I don't really know how to talk about myself. I don't really know how to introduce myself when I'm doing this. Well, here's some help on that. And then just in general, some networking tips for you to use as well. Now, like I said, I want to be able to share with you the alumni tool, and I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to go to my LinkedIn page. And just as a quick check, if you could tell me if you can see this, is this coming through for everyone? You can just put in the chat yes or thumbs up. Great. Thank you so much. Okay, here is my LinkedIn page. So I'm going to go up here in the search, and I've already done this a little bit, but just to show you a full demonstration. Western Governors University School. So you want to make sure you've got the school here in our little WGU symbol. Click that, and it will bring up probably just results. This is not actually the page, so you need to either view page or click on Western Governors University. And then that's our page. So you can follow this if you haven't already. You can look to see what are relevant things that your school's doing. We've been having commencement. We've been highlighting alumni. We have, things from our president, Scott Pulsifer. Lots of great information here that you can find. But at the top, you'll see here the word alumni. When you click on that, it will open up this little section. You can see 308,925 alumni from WGU are on LinkedIn. All right. So you'll see, where they work, where they live, what they do. So you can look at it from this perspective. If you're in the School of Technology and you're like, well, 57,000, that's a lot. But let me click on that. If I'm going to use that as a search thing, then it goes down to 57,000, right? And you can look at the people that are there, but you want to be more targeted, right? You want to be more intentional. So in the search bar, go ahead and put a specific keyword that you might be interested in. Let's put Python. That's one of the programming languages that we teach. Now it's gone down to 9,000 alumni, but now I can look at profiles that are specifically people from WGU, but have a profile that is in my field of interest. Then I can start looking at them. So Andrea is a junior data engineer. Let's click on her profile. I can see her headline. She's got a banner behind her, beautiful mountains. I can look more here. I want to look at her about section because that's going to tell me about more about who she is, look how she has hers organized. And look how she starts with a passion of data engineering and a talent for envisioning complex technical architectures. I'm already interested. I combine creative problem solving with a deep understanding of data management and cloud services. Perfect. She talks about herself there. Goes into my core data engineering skills include. Excellent way to do this. She has her portfolio, her GitHub link there, her email, her art portfolio, which is there. Be interesting to look at. She has what's featured. My art, I'm not sure exactly why that would be there, but it's something she wants to put out there. Maybe she's used some of her IT experience to do that. Okay, so she's got a lot of different things that's going to be there as a data engineer. Experience where she's worked, her education, licensure, skill set. She's listed 85. I might look at the top few just to see what that is. Where is she? What is she interested in? So this is how you can explore other people's profiles. If you're interested, you can hit connect. And then if you want to add a note from the link of networking messages I gave to you, you can add a note to make it more personalized. And if I want to go back to the alumni tool, I could look at more profiles, and it's okay to, start sending out messages and invitations. One thing I saw as I'm looking at these, and you'll see, let's look at Aaron. Aaron just has Aaron D. So you want to go into your settings. You want to make sure that both your first and last name are present. Aaron has a little bit about his background there, some activity, experience, education, licensure, projects. Okay, a quick little test. See who the first one can answer this in the chat. Get ready. What's missing? Anyone? Anyone? Excellent. You're the winner. Very good. The profile and the about section. That's exactly right. So good job. All right. Well, folks, I want to give some time. Let me go back and click the back button here. Just wanted to give you an example of how that works. If you're interested again in any of these other settings, where they live, where they work, this is all about our folks in using Python or programming languages. You could put other keywords here. Like I said, you can clear that and you could put in, let's say, HR or whatever from the College of Business. Here's Crystal as an HR specialist. She's missing a banner, but she has a very small about section, maybe not so filled out. So you can continue to search someone who can be a little bit more maybe inspiring and give you some information. Here's somebody who is a project manager. A little bit more of an about section to talk about herself, top skills, and some activities. So just wanted to share that with you. But again, when you go to the events link that I shared with you, you'll find a lot more workshops. We spent yesterday, yes, getting all of our workshops ready for April. So you'll see some really great when we get into April. They may be emailed to you through Handshake. They may be emailed about our events coming up. So pay attention to those. I know you may get a lot of emails, but hopefully that will be helpful for you. And remember, if you register for a presentation and you can't make it, you'll still get a copy of the recording. So you win either way. Win-win. Here's how you can contact us, either by email. We have our YouTube channel, more events that are recorded that are there. Our direct email, as well as our website. If you've called into us before, you know you're going to go right to our voicemail, and then one of our team will call you back either that same day or the next business day. And then we have drop-in hours. Drop-in hours are like open office hours. So it's not a presentation. It may be a topic. And we're just there to field questions. You have a quick question, come and go. That's our drop-in hours. Those are also registered on Handshake. And then in addition to LinkedIn, we're also the university, and some organizations are on Facebook. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing here, and I'm going to open up to any questions you have. Did this spark, additional interest? Did it spark any questions that we could spend a few minutes on to talk about? And as always, you can put that in the chat. And if you need to leave or you've gotten what you needed, you're perfectly free to take your leave. This point on, it's just going to be any folks who have any questions, and then we'll end our session. But thank you for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.